Okay, I guess we're running. Sorry, let me do my usual thing here. Uh, the streaming service thingy I'm using changed their format a little bit, so caught me off guard. Usually gives me a warning. So there we go. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Sorry for the rough start there. As I say, they moved everything around on the page. Suddenly I'm huge on the page rather than just the nice little thing they had before, and I don't seem to be able to change the view. And before it would go live and it would have me, it, it just, it is what it is. Uh, this is Africa Tour 2025 update number 14. I think the thing might say the wrong number because I didn't figure out where to edit it, but it is number 14. I missed last week because I said the internet was out, and it was kind of true. I was having router problems, and it was going off like a couple times an hour and staying off for extended periods. So it turned out just to be the router I had, but it's fixed now. It is fixed now. So internet is good. And let's see. So yeah, sorry I missed last week. It happens, you know. Life happens around here. The guy who usually fixes my computer stuff, and he's the one that runs the high speed internet and all that. And he's usually really good, but he was out of town, and anyone else that was working for him evidently wasn't around either. It's just a bad timing thing. So that does seem to be fixed. The week before that, in the week leading up to that, I had another problem with the water tank. It's like, come on, I'm only 2 months from leaving. Oh, and by the way, anyone who's new or doesn't know, Africa Tour 2025 is me going from Ghana, where I am currently stationed, all the way down to Namibia, which is near South Africa. It's in southern Africa. And I'm going to do it all along the coast. And I'm going to go through all the countries. And I'm not just racing through to see how long I can go, how quick I can get there. It's more about exploring each country as I go. And so I'm going to be spending all of next year, or most of next year, doing Africa Tour 2025. I'm estimating it'll take most of the year. I'm sort of hoping that I finish around November and then get a little bit of time off before I continue around Africa for 2026. And that'll be up the East Coast, around the South and up the East. But we are starting here for now with Ghana to Namibia. Um, but yeah, so I had water tank issues again. And it turned out we had really low water pressure, thought the water had run out, thought something was leaking up top. Turned out it was, they have a float system thingy, and the float thingy is just a couple of years old, but it was old enough that it must have gotten cracked and it got filled with water. So what's supposed to be sitting on top was sinking down in, and it wasn't giving the right signals to the pump, et cetera, et cetera. So we did have water up top, but we had lost a fair amount of what was down below because it wasn't regulating properly. And then, but it took, it took figuring out that something was wrong, and then getting the plumber in, then he had to fix it, and then I was about to call the water tank, and then the city finally ran the water. So the city ran the water, so that saved me. So I ended up with two full tanks. All is good. Um, it's one of the things here, that we're not used to if you're from the U.S. And you're in a major city. You just have water flowing all the time whenever you need it. Yeah, and it goes through your meter and you pay for it, but you just have it when you need it. And here we get city water when they decide to pump, and if not, you got to get a water truck. And I got a tank up top, which came with the apartment. I have an extra tank down on the bottom because you can't get by on one tank. Not for any length of time, especially when there's long times sometimes between the city pumping. So everyone gets an extra tank. And there's little things that can go wrong, but it's like, I'm leaving in 2 months. You couldn't wait. All these little breakdowns. I've had a bunch of little breakdowns on the pump and the pipe and this and that, and it's just been annoying. Um, that's the thing. One of the things I realized when I was traveling, when Tim and I were traveling, was like a lot of the problems that came up, same crap you deal with at home. You know, like if you're home and you get a clogged something or other, or something else goes wrong with your pipes or anything, you're dealing with the same stuff. If you're on the road full time, the stuff you deal with is not exactly the same, but it's very similar sometimes. Um, the problems you deal with when you're on the road are no greater than the problems you dealt with at home, I guess is my point. So, yeah, so, and sometimes they're a little different, but they're not any harder. They're about the same. Um, and then I had another surprise last week. A friend, uh, his someone who lives with his family, a young man who lives with his family, was going to school over here, but they wouldn't let him in yet because he didn't have everything he needed or something like that. And basically, he needed a place to park for the afternoon because my friend was working, okay, and he couldn't keep him at work very well. So he came over, sort of, as I say, just sort of out of the blue, and they came over, and I ended up showing him. I ended up spending the afternoon like showing him how a computer works and just talking to him. I tried not to overdo it, and I tried not to get tedious and be the old lady telling him everything, but I tried to give him a little life advice, just a little. And but he was a good kid. He was a really good kid, and evidently he really enjoyed like learning some of the stuff I showed him. Um, just because he hadn't had a chance to use a computer before. He was from the village, so he actually had a good time, it seemed. So that was really cool. And let's see. So here's the wrinkle this week. There's always a wrinkle, isn't there? Um, Good thing happened in that the freelance writing gig that I usually get in the around September that I didn't think was going to happen this year because oh, by the way, I am going to have some cool pictures to show you in a minute. I haven't done the hardcore research on Namibia yet, but I got some really cool pictures to show you, and they're not Namibia, they're other things. They're very cool. They're my own photos, so I'll tell you about that in a sec. But we are going to get to some visual stuff. Sorry, we're not there yet. But the cool thing happened is that that freelance gig that I didn't get, that wasn't happening, it's happening. It's just really late on a really tight rush. Right now, it's a hurry up and wait. I get something in over this weekend, and I have to wait till like Thursday to get the go ahead that they like the idea, and I can write on it. And then I'm writing two stories, and that's within a week, and that's okay. I can handle that. Um, and then I have like a week to edit everyone's stories. Um, and that's going to be like 10 stories I will be editing in that short amount of time. And then the person who's like putting it all together into a graphic thing and the artists and all that, they're going to be kicking butt and all that. Really short turnaround. It's a really short turnaround. But it's a nice thing, and it gives me a little breathing room. And with that in mind, as I say, it gives me a little breathing room. Oh! I have a chat. Peter Burnett. Uh, Thank you. Hello. Glad you're here. Sorry, I sometimes forget to watch chats. I apologize. But I'm glad you're here. Thank you. Hi. Um, but with that in mind, I have figured out how to do something here on Restream, and uh, I have a Buy Me a Coffee account. If anyone wants to help contribute to Africa Tour 2025, whether it's $5 or more or anything, I'm gonna put something up. I think I can put this up now. Does it work? Yeah, it looks like it's working. Oh, hey, they put a big old thing over my face. I didn't know they were going to do that. No, it's not. You don't have to be looking at my mug all the time. Uh, but yeah, you can QR code scan the Buy Me a Coffee, or if you go to any of my videos on YouTube, it should be down in the description. There should always be a link. But I'll leave that up for just a minute. Because I'm not gonna lie. I can use the help. I'm not monetized on YouTube quite yet. I have the subscribers, but not the watch hours and that kind of thing. And my funds come in kind of drips and drabs. And so any help you might feel inspired to give, I would gladly accept, and I appreciate it. Thank you. I'll leave that up for another few seconds in case you're trying to figure out where the QR scanner is on your camera. If you use the native camera app, the one that came with the phone, it might just already be built in and turned on. You might just have to point it at it and then click the link. That's what mine does anyways. Um, so yeah, but I'm excited about the writing project because it's always fun to work with this company. This is the company that I worked for like 2.5 years, and then they downsized, and admittedly, there wasn't enough work for me to be there full time, and that's what actually kicked off the thing where Tim and I decided, okay, time to go, because I was never going to get a job like that again. I got to be a futurist and science fiction writer for a tech company, and that just doesn't happen every day. So it was the loss of that job that kicked off our trip when it did. And I still freelance for them. When they have a project for me, I'm still top of the list for them to call and have work. So it's working out. It's working out. Um, I also, you know what I found out? Oh gosh, you know what I found out? Um, I think I told you last week about, or the week before, about my friend Abdullah, and he has NGO, and they helped some basket weavers in Bolgatanga get their eyes fixed so they could work again, because they had people who couldn't even see a few feet, or were blind or nearly blind, and um, so he has an organization. It's an NGO, and I was talking to Amina, who's the executive secretary. I called her the executive secretary because secretaries always get the most done. No, it's a small organization at the moment, but she's a friend of mine, and I thought I thought that when someone ran an NGO, that when they had a project, that they would take a little money off the top of the funds just to pay themselves for their time. It doesn't have to be a greedy thing, but to say, hey, I'm putting this many hours into it, I deserve to get paid a nominal amount or something to cover my time. And I found out that's not the case. They're not taking any money for it. Oh, I still have my thing up. Let me get this thing down. There we go. Okay. Um, Thank you. Anyone who considered doing that, thank you. Uh, and if you're catching me on Instagram, most of the action is on YouTube. I got to be really honest with you. They probably don't like me saying that, but that's just the case. Um, but I'm trying to put more stuff up on Instagram and TikTok. I'm on TikTok now. It's interesting. Um, but no, I found out that Abdullah was doing this all full charity, not taking anything, and that I was really impressed by that. As I say, I thought at least he would take enough to cover his time, and no, it's all charity, and that's really nice because I know he puts a lot of time into it, and they've got some great projects going. They're always helping people, and they're strictly projects that help people in the way they need it. You know, um, I'm working on a website for them for that. That's the thing. I'm working on his website. I got the writing project, and now I'm kind of thrown off schedule. I didn't expect the writing project to come in, and my life for the next up till I left, which I still was debating on when I was going to need to leave. Uh, and the timing was based on the idea that I'm trying to get this to this festival in Nigeria in the beginning of March. But this has kind of thrown my timing off because I'm going to have about 2 weeks where I literally am not going to have time to do anything else, nothing else at all, except work on that writing project. And so I'm trying to decide, am I still going to try really hard to make that festival in Nigeria at the point of having to rush, which it may be a rush, it may not. Or do I just say, you know what, I might not make that festival in Nigeria and let it go, and then just do the whole thing at my own pace. I am really not certain. Something smells a little funny. There's a lot of funny smells around here sometimes. Sometimes people burn things, and I just hope nothing's burning. Um, if I vacate really quick, you'll know why. So I'm debating on whether I try really hard for that festival in Nigeria. I mean, I'd love to make it, but I also found out for certain that while Togo and Benin have e-visas, those e-visas do not work at the land border. So when I get to Accra, I'm going to have to get visas for three countries, Togo, Benin, and Nigeria. And it might be I get one per week. I might be able to get two in 1 week. That would be ideal. If I could, I'm planning to get into Accra probably on a like a Friday, Saturday kind of thing, somewhere in there. And then Monday morning, be at the first embassy, be at Togo. And then, you know, then go to Benin and then go to the Nigerian embassy. And I'm sort of hoping that with e-visa, that since they have an e-visa, that maybe it's a little faster because no one else is bothering the visa office people. I'm hoping. And the people who are in all these countries, they're ECOWAS countries, which is an alliance. It's a financial, how do you say that? A commerce-based alliance amongst West African countries. I'm not sure it's all commerce. It's a little bit of everything. But the ECOWAS countries, they need their own IDs and all that, but they can move freely between them. So they don't need to go get visas to go to Togo and Benin and all that. So we're going to see if I'm still going to try to get to that festival in Nigeria or not, because it depends on when I try to get to Accra, and then it depends on how much time I have to do things. But I can work on Abdullah's website in Accra, and I'm still doing all my own stuff too. I got stuff, and that's what I want to show you. Oh, and before I start showing you pictures, I'm going to tell you, Harmattan has hit really hard. It is so dusty out there. It is. It's not yellow sky yet. We're not yellow sky yet, but it's like 38 degrees, which is about 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's dusty, and it's very dusty, and I'm a little stuffy, but I'm doing everything. Like, I don't know if you saw it, but I did a short and I did a 20 tips video. And one of my things was about if you're coming during Harmattan, do lip balm and nasal spray and lotion and eye drops. I got it all. I got it all. I'm taking my own advice and I'm getting through it pretty good. But I mean, you walk out and you come back in, you're out for 10 minutes and you got like a coating of dust on you, that kind of thing. So that's what we're doing right now. So let me show you some pictures. I have been working to get some art prints up on Society 6. And the prints that I'm getting up, okay, hold on, they moved everything. I got to figure out how to share again. Oh no! Let's see. Picture in picture, orientation. How do I do picture in picture? Wait. Oh no. Let's see, it was this. Ah, there we go. Okay, I'm going to start with this one. I remember the keyboard command. And I think, let me see what you're seeing. Okay, this is interesting. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm putting some of my old travel photos up on Society 6 as art prints for either canvas print or on metal. Oh, there I am. I'm a little person down there. And so I'm putting up some of my old photos, and they're not that old. They're, since the beginning of the big trip. Oh, okay. And then, so I'm going to show you some travel photos. Get to the right page here. There we go. I'm going to show you some travel photos. This first one here is Morocco. It's in the Fez Medina that I saw this. And the thing is, so is the second one. Take a look. This is right after the motorcyclist rode by. And then you got the kid looking back. I think that was a cause and effect kind of thing. I think it was one where they were sort of passing, and when the motorcyclist rode by, they caught the kid's attention. But I just love this shot, that haze and all that smoky effect. That was just the way the shot came out. did not like add special effects or do that in editing. So, you know. And then this is one of my favorite pictures is this is from, oh, crud. Hold on. Oh, wait, you might be seeing the whole thing. Hold on. Oh, you are. You are. Okay, good, 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 good. It's hard to see. It's hard to see what I'm doing on one. There we go. Okay, I got it. I got it. And this was a picture I took in Cotonou, Benin. Cotonou is there's kind of two capitals in Benin, and Cotonou is the main heart of Benin. It's the where everything happens. It's the most interesting city, the most active city. The other one is Porto Novo, and last time I went, they were still putting in the paved roads. They had all this construction going on to pave the roads. But it seems like it's going to be one of those things where that's the administrative capital that may or may not be quite as interesting. But the main city is Cotonou. And she was just walking down the street selling baby clothes. That's really what it was. But I just love the way she had them on display, you know. And the head carry is extremely common around here. Everyone learns it. Everyone can do it. So, but that's in Benin, which is 2 countries over from where I am right now. Now this next picture, I see in these pictures. Um, in these pictures, I am actually including stuff that's not Africa. This is from Indonesia. And this was when we went to Komodo Island, where the Komodo dragons are. And I just thought this thing with the mate, standing out watching for stuff on the boat, I just thought it was a really cool shot. But yeah, we went to Komodo Island on New Year's Day in 2018, November or not January 1st, 2018, and we saw the Komodo dragons fight, and that's all on the website. If you want to see, technically, I have playlists with the Southeast Asia part of the trip that Tim and I took on YouTube, but I also have the website, and that has all the travels. It has stuff from every portion of our travels. Right now, I have the YouTube channel just geared towards Africa at this moment. Um, let's see. Oh, hey, we got some people that joined on Instagram. Mel Diamond Travels, hello, and Kobeezy. So, hello, hello. And okay, so let me get back over here. So this, and I think the next 2 photos are from Borobudur in Indonesia. When you're on the island of Jakarta, um, wait, no, island of Java, main city, capital city is Jakarta, but then you have Yogyakarta, um, and that they have 2 big temples. One is Prambanan, which is very much like, oh gosh, the one in Cambodia, which I'm forgetting the name of. Forgive me. Um, you look at a lot of maps and you see a lot of name places, and it's been a long time at this point. So I'm just, my brain's a little just not catching it. I could look it up, but then you'd have to stop and watch me look something up. So let's not do that. But this is Borobudur. This one's different. This has these stelas on top, these stupas. Oops, no, it's not the next one. But see, oh, that's because this is vertical. I have a couple on the horizontal. And it's just a really great shot. It's like right in the jungle, and yet it's also right in the city. You know, it's not like out in the middle of nowhere. It'll look like it because there's a lot of jungle around it. But Indonesia is fantastic. I have to say, I like Indonesia on the same level that I like Ghana. Um, they both have surprises around every corner, and they have really nice people, and the food is good, and they just have really interesting stuff to see and do. And I mean, we were in Indonesia for 2 months. We went to 4 islands, and there's still so much more because it's such a big place, and there's so many islands and so much to do. Okay, so the next picture is this is in the Blue Temple in Chiang Rai, Thailand, and it is very blue. And it's just this giant Buddha. It's just a big Buddha statue. It's a little more modern of a thing. Um, Southeast Asia, of course, has tons and tons of Buddhist temples, and um, some are modern, Some are traditional, some have the traditional gold Buddhas, some are in limestone caves, some are in caves filled with bats, some are, up, a lot of them are up hills or upstairs or on mountains of some sort or other. Some have cartoonish kind of figures in front of them that are showing the stories, and it's just, there's so many different kinds of temples in Southeast Asia. Tim got a little templed out. I still enjoyed them. I tried to get as much variety as I could. I tried not to go to all traditional or all this or all that. I tried to do it up. And this is just a dragon at the Blue Temple. I love this dragon. I love this dragon. You know, let's see. Oh, and this was in Chefchaouen, which is a city. It's the Blue City in Morocco. It's in the Atlas Mountains. I think it's the Atlas Mountains. Yeah, it's in the mountains. Pretty sure it's the Atlas Mountains. Um, and we went up. Oh gosh, it was like November. Oh, it's cold up there. Yeah, you think Africa, you think hot, you think desert, you think hot. No, no, no. It was cold up there. We were kind of freezing our butts off. We only stayed a few days. It wasn't just because it was cold, but yeah. And these kids were running through. It's like this one was a case of like three sets of kids came through, and I got shots on two sets of kids. The first set came through. The second set came through. I caught them, but this is the third set. And they were the littlest ones, and they were made the best picture. Um, this is also Morocco. You might sense I was going through my files, and so some of them are like all clumped together for that reason. This was also, I think, I'm pretty sure this was in the Fez Medina too. And it's just a big old archway door. This is in Mauritania, and this was just a back street scene. Mauritania was, I didn't hate the country, I didn't dislike the country, but it was one of the more challenging countries. And the thing is, I got some of the best pictures in Mauritania. It is a very, very photogenic country. It's easy to get good pictures in Mauritania. I don't know why. I mean, and they were spontaneous. I mean, even if they weren't photos I expected to get. Even when I set out, oh, hey, I'm going to go take some pictures, I had no idea I was going to get the photos I got. And that's the last on the vertical. Let me see. I'm going to share this one now. Let me make sure it looks right. Let's see. Do I have a new chat? Ah, Dream Life, hello. Adijan Salkanovic. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Hello. Uh, Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining me. So, yeah, let's see. Oh, good. You got to see the camels on this one. I did the camel trek in Mauritania because they have them in Morocco and they feel very touristy and they're kind of glamping. You go out and it's very cush. And then I wanted to do something more authentic, and I went to Mauritania and I went out to Chinguetti. And Tim stayed at the hotel because, you know, he wasn't up for this kind of camel trek. But I did the camel trek out into the desert to stay with a nomad family, and it was authentic. It was also challenging. I think if I were to be over in that region again, I think I might do, and I wanted to do another camel ride. I would do the one in, I'd do the one in Morocco. I would do the one in Morocco just for comfort. I'm not sure the experience of doing the authentic one was worth the amount of discomfort it was and the awkwardness with the family I visited. Mauritania was a little bit awkward. So, um, just a note. I have a whole write up on it, again, on the website. Um, if you want to check it out, and I explain everything that happened. Nothing was horrible, nothing really bad or anything. Just, yeah, if you're in the area, just go from Morocco and be comfortable. I've seen the ones from Morocco, and then I looked at what the pricing was. It's like, yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad for being that comfortable. So this next picture, this is in Senegal. This horse carriage ride was in Saint Louis, St. Louis. It looks like when our spelling, St. Louis, but Saint Louis, Senegal, which is up in the north. It's almost to Mauritania, and you can take this horse carriage ride around the city. It's put on by the tourism board there, and just in general, they have the horse carts going around, and it was very cool. And I got this really great picture. And next up, the Pink Lake in Senegal. I did a whole video on this. You can find a Pink Lake video on my on the YouTube channel. But I know these are horizontal pictures, so you're only getting part of them, I believe. Yeah. Let's see, are they showing? They're still showing good though. So I love the fact that all the boats say no stress. I just love that. So that's what that one's all about. And the lake is pink, but it depends on when you go, because it was hot and dry. The dry season is best because you get the most pink during dry season, and it was kind of windy when we went, and so it got a fair amount of pink. Um, and You'll see that on the video. You'll see how pink it was. It's not crazy pink. Sometimes you'll see pictures and it'll look like bubblegum pink. No, I don't think it ever gets that pink ever in reality. They just over exaggerate it. But it can get pink, but you could go and it could not look very pink and you could be disappointed with that, but still enjoy the boat ride. You know, it's still fun. Um, Buy some salt because they harvest salt from this lake and all that. Oh, and we're back in Thailand. Here's the White Temple in Thailand. And this is also near Chiang Rai. A lot of people go to Chiang Mai and they do this little thing where they go to Chiang Rai for a day trip and they do the White Temple, the Blue Temple, and the Black House all in one day. And that is a great tour. Those three temples in one day is a great tour. I would advise, if you have the time, to stay a few days in Chiang Rai. It's a really fun town. First off, they have a clock tower that goes off at like 7, 8, and 9 o'clock, and it does a whole little light show and music and everything. So always ask about the clock tower if your hotel's not near it. They have night markets. We stayed when Tim was with me. We were slow traveling, so we would take a week or two in some places. I forget how long we stayed in Chiang Rai, but we were probably there a solid week. And they have things like going on in the park. There's events a lot of the time. You know, there's a lot going on there, and I really like it. At the time, I'd say I like Chiang Rai a little more than Chiang Mai. Most people come out saying they like Chiang Mai better. Maybe I need to go back and try again and just check out both again. You know, when I get back over to that part of the world, I probably will. And this is Prambanan. This is Promenade at sunset, obviously, and I just thought this was a really good picture. Promenade by itself was really hard to photograph because there's people everywhere, and even though I did the people remover, you know, that you can do on editors nowadays, I didn't necessarily feel like any of those images were really great that someone would want to hang on their wall. So I went with the sunset picture because I figured that was the nice dramatic one. These are all these are all photos that are either up on Society 6, which I'm not providing the link yet because they're not all up yet. I started hitting this glitch, and I don't know if it was a site-wide glitch or if it was just my account, and they haven't gotten back to me on it. So I haven't put all of these up yet. So I'm not providing a link yet because not everything's up yet. Here's Borobudur. And yes, that's the actual sky that was behind it. I got really lucky. This one has people all over it too, but I did the little people removal with the editor. Because there is, unless you are like the first one in, up at sunset, getting into the temple, you're not going to get pictures without people in them in Southeast Asia, especially in Indonesia. Especially in Indonesia. There's people everywhere. And you just gotta recognize that's going to be the case, and that's okay. It makes it fun. It's nice having people around. And here's another one of Borobudur with the jungle. You're not quite getting the thing, but there's a stela over here on the side. But you're just getting the view of the jungle behind it, kind of like the other one. And another one from Borobudur, but this one's kind of cool. I don't know. Let me see what you're seeing. Yeah, you're getting a decent shot. I got the two Buddhas in the alcoves going on there. So that one's really cool. I just took a half glance at myself and I feel like my hat's crooked. I'm in desperate need of a haircut and my bangs are down in my eyes here. Um, okay, let's see. I'm doing a quick look to make sure I haven't missed anyone. Oh, uh, Jayo Jayosua over on Instagram. Hello, thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for coming, taking a look. I'm just showing travel photos. These are all since December of 2017. This one I don't think I'm going to put up on Society 6, but this is in Benin. And I just like I don't know if it's on your screen or not. Mom walking with the kid down the street. Benin is interesting because the people are as nice as they are here in Ghana, for the most part. You know, it's a very friendly place, um, but they're not quite as developed as Ghana. They're about 15 years behind Ghana, and I'm sure they're catching up. I'm sure they're doing fine, but yeah, things are a little more simple down there, over there, I should say. And this is in Benin, but this is the Ganvier Stilt Village. And much like they have Nzulezo here in Ghana, they have a stilt village it's just outside of Cotonou, or it's at the edge of Cotonou. And so the next couple of pictures are from Ganvier Stilt Village. Um, I love stilt villages. I think they're fun. They're fun to explore, and just the idea that people are living on water. I know there's one in Nigeria. It's actually pretty famous, Makoko. It's sort of a slum, they call it. They refer to it as a slum, but people are living above the water, you know. And this is one of the villagers going back to the village after having gone into Cotonou, or at least into town. Um, so these are the kind of boats that they had. You know, they were all pretty much people powered boats and people and wind powered boats. But I love these boats. I have actually a ton of pictures of people on the river and the boats. I'm hoping, I am hoping when I go back through Benin, I want to revisit Ganvier Stilt Village. And I'm hoping to do a video that's a little more in depth. When we went, uh, there weren't too many people around. They were all off site. So I'm going to try and find a guide that can take me around and do some translating for me. And maybe I can do some interviews and that sort of thing at Ganvier. I'm really hoping to do a little more in-depth reporting on that. And see, I also might start writing like some of those things that might be better written, in addition to a video that might add a little more depth in written form. I might start putting some articles up on Medium. I'll let you know when I get that going. Right now, I have an introduction article prepped but not posted yet. We're going to see if I can manage that kind of schedule to do both making videos and writing. So no promises yet on that. This was near Chiang Mai. This is a temple. Near Chiang Mai, there's a temple that's on top of a mountain that you drive up to or get a ride up to, that everyone goes to. Halfway up the mountain is this temple, and it's active. It's not entirely lost, but this section of it was not entirely well kept. I had to like hop over some water and jump the rocks, and the storm was coming in. And Tim's like, I think you should be hurrying because there's a little lightning and that kind of thing. And I did, but not before I got to this area where you had this lineup of Buddhas, like with the jungle like coming down on them, and you notice one's decapitated, and one is a small Buddha, almost like that whole statue is missing, and they said, hey, let's put this other one here to take its spot. Um, but whatever happened to him happened to him. But yeah, a little bit of ruin, but still in really good shape, to be honest. And yeah, sometimes the temple that's halfway up, that's smaller, and it was much quieter, is really cool to go see. And then if you've seen my video on best things to do in Tamale, this is a picture from, I went to see Lobby, and that's the name of the woman that you don't see her face in this picture. But she's a potter here in Tamale, and she sits and she makes pots. And she was talking with us, and Abdullah was my guide, and he was translating for me. But she was sitting there talking and making this pot. It took her no more than 10 minutes to make this pot, and she was using a mango seed. She was using a mango seed as a shaping tool. And okay, I've done pottery. I did it in high school and college, and that's just brilliant. Potters will use anything. We'll sit there and say, "Oh, I need something this shape. Hey, this credit card's expired. Let's cut it up into the shape I need." Kind of stuff like that. So the idea that as a potter, she would use a mango seed, it's just made so much sense and it's so perfect. Excuse me. So I love that. I love that. And then this is a quilt maker, and she takes all these wonderful fabrics and she gets the scraps from the tailors and all that, and she sews them into big quilts. Now, when I say quilt, I mean it's a quilt in the sense of a bunch of fabrics sewn together. It's not a thick, heavy thing, although they can put a lining on the back for the nights that it is cool, but they don't make them big, puffy things, so they just don't need that much warmth around here. But it's all these fabrics put together, and she makes it beautifully. And I have one covering one of my chairs over here because I have a leatherette kind of chair, and it's miserable to be. You don't want to be sweaty and sitting in that chair. You end up with a heat rash. And ask me how I know. Okay, you know how I know. I fell asleep in the chair, and I ended up with heat rash all over my arm. That's when I decided to do the cover for it, and now it works great. And it's one of her quilts, and it's absolutely fantastic. And this is in Bolgatanga. This is the Bolgatanga. This is just an edge of it. The day I went, there were sheep running through the market, and there was a cow. I mean, I turned the corner, and there was this cow, and it was just a surprise. For all the markets I've been to, I'd never run into one where there was just a cow in the middle of everything. Um, and yeah, so this is the edge of the market in Bolgatanga. And this market only happens every 3 days. So if you're going to go to Bolgatanga, the basket market, which I don't have a picture of in here at the moment, and this market, which is the local market, they happen on the same day, but every 3 days. So you can't just show up and expect it to be there. You have to plan a little bit ahead. When you're in Tamale, find out when the market days for Bolgatanga are before you go traipsing up there. Um, and on that same northern Ghana trip, we stopped in Gambaga, which is the witchcraft village. And the witchcraft village is basically it's a refuge within Gambaga that I mean it's a village, but it's a refuge for a bunch of people who have been accused of witchcraft. They've been accused of, I guess, dark witchcraft, and they've been exiled. And they have people coming, from Togo, from Burkina, from the whole region. People will come here because they're safe here, but they're poor, you know, and they collect and sell firewood, but that's about it. That's all they got going on, and so they don't make a ton of money. They survive, but if they really actually had witchcraft, you'd think they wouldn't be in that situation. So I'd say that they are falsely accused. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense that you could hold them. uh, but yeah, so the witchcraft village of Gambaga was an interesting visit. Oh, and this is something I mean when I was telling you how Benin is a little bit behind. This picture here, I just want to make sure you're seeing what. Okay, in those jars is gasoline. This, oh, wow, it looks like. Hold on. Okay, okay. Um, it caught up. It caught up. Uh, Sorry, there's a little lag going on there. But there's gasoline in those jars. The guy on the motorbike is stopping to buy gas. And I was in a car that bought gas from this too. If there is a regular gas station with pumps and gas and everything, I did not see one when I was there. It's not like there's one, but it's so far away in town that this is a secondary version. I mean, there could be, but if there were regular gas stations in Cotonou, they were few and far between. Because after I saw this and was told it was a gas station, um, I was surprised, and I started looking for a regular gas station just to see if this was backup and that. But no, this was kind of a normal way to buy gas there. By the way, if these images aren't 100% clear, because I'm looking at Restream and it's not as clear, they are much clearer when they're on Society 6. When they are my art prints, they are much clearer. If anything, hey Carlos, nice to see you. Hello. Um, I saw that you joined on Instagram. But just know that the pictures will be really clear when they're posted for prints. If they're not coming in now, it's just the resolution of when you're doing a live. When you do a live, you don't have as good a resolution. Okay, now we're going back over to Southeast Asia, and actually this one's really cool because we went to Myanmar. When we were in Myanmar, was they had the military government, they got ousted, and they had a presidential election, and they were going to be democratic. And so there was this window of a few years where they were opening up and being a democratic country. And then, like a year or two after we had passed through, bam, the military took over again. And their military coups, like sometimes you'll hear about military coups over here in West Africa, and they are not as they're not as violent. I mean, it's almost like daily life is sometimes hardly disrupted by coups over here in West Africa. But the one in Myanmar, no, that one's wicked. I don't think you can travel in Myanmar at all right now. So this is the Ubane or Ubane Bridge. It's a teak bridge. It's the longest teak bridge that I know of, that I think in existence. If I'm wrong on that fact, forgive me. But yeah, we were walking it, and then this was the walk back, and the sun was going down. This happened to us a lot because Tim was kind of slow because of his eyes and all that, and so a lot of times we were finishing things, and they were taking a lot longer than you would expect them to, and so we'd be fighting, trying to get back before we lost all the light, kind of thing. Um, it happened far more than once. So yeah, that was just a really nice picture we got on the bridge. In this was in Mandalay, Myanmar. This is back to Mauritania, and it was one of those things. As I say, I got pictures in Mauritania that I couldn't have expected this picture. Just a lot of spontaneous pictures in Mauritania, and I just really love this one. You have everything looking like the desert except for that door and that little girl's dress, and she's got all this energy, and I just thought it was a great picture. And another one from Mauritania. Again, that burst of color, and especially when you have the Muslim women dressed, and they're in their traditional garb, and yet there's still this elegance and this beauty, in their textiles and in their fashion. And you have to understand, this place, Mauritania, is like the Sahara Desert bumping up against the ocean. Okay, bye bye. Have a good weekend. um, and and so it's all Sahara Desert, and everything is dusty all the time. Like this dustiness that I have right now this is only going to be around for a portion of the year, a couple months. There, it's always dusty, and so everything is sort of covered in the dust. And so you have these, to see them, and they just popped, and again, I thought it was a really cool image. And but Mauritania, yeah, it's all desert. And one more from Mauritania. I don't know if you're going to get to see the whole of this one. Let me take a look. Oh, man. Okay, you can kind of see the guy on the bike. The guy on the bike with the blue turban, and the turban is just, it's the sand, it's a desert thing. It's strictly for the desert, the dust of the desert. When I went on the camel trek, they wrapped me up in the blue turban thing, and it did. It worked better than anything. I had one of those like neck gaiters that you could pull up. No, that was like hot and sticky, and their fabric was like perfectly light and did everything it was supposed to do for keeping out the sand. And this one here is Kakum National Park. Um, I've done videos that included everything on Cape Coast. It's near Cape Coast, and I just went there less than a year ago. So yeah, I love Kakum National Park. It's you, I wanted it to be like Indiana Jones the first time. Um, Okay, not completely like Indiana Jones. I didn't need the crocodiles, didn't need the whole collapse. But second movie, Temple of Doom. Um, but the thing is, this is so safe, and the cables come up so high. It feels really safe, and it didn't have that extra adventure. And yet, I still absolutely love the canopy walkway. I absolutely love it, even if I was just a little disappointed that it was too stable. Yeah, I know. Um, and then, yeah, this, which is the canoe ride out to the Stilt Village in Ghana, which is in Zulezo. And the first time I did it, it was dry season. That was back before digital camera time for me. Actually, it was, if they had digital cameras then, it was really early. Um, so this isn't dry season. This is wet season, as you can tell. And but I have to admit, first time through, and it's like, oh, this is kind of like the jungle ride. Horrible thinking that, and yet I laughed at myself the moment I thought it. That was back in 2003 on my first visit to Ghana. But uh, this was with Tim in 2019. This picture was from 2019. Because yeah, yeah, because last time down I went down south, I didn't go to Enzulezo because I'd been there and I had pictures and everything else. So, and this one's cool because this one is right here in Tamale. In fact, it's right out here. Let me see if I can get it to line up. There we go. This was a hazy Harmonton morning. This was actually 2 years ago when we first got here, or when I was first here. This was after I lost him. Um, but uh, this was just a hazy Harmonton morning. I was out early getting breakfast, and I saw this shot with the way the sky was looking, and I just grabbed the shot. But yeah, this is like a 1 minute walk from here. And I just really love the way the image came out. Just got lucky that the kid was riding the bike at that moment. And then this is one of my favorite. Oh, oh, oh! I hope you're seeing enough of it. Yeah, you're seeing her. This lady, this is Indonesia again. This is in Toraja. And Toraja is the place that has all the really interesting funeral rites and where they unbury and redress their dead and all these things around funeral rites, which are very interesting. But this was in the market at Toraja. And I started to walk past her and not say anything. And then I kind of turned back around because she was the perfect subject. I mean, she was the perfect subject. And uh, she knew it. She knew it. When I turned around to ask if I could take her picture, she fully expected me to do that. And she was sitting there with her cigarette, just looking cool. I mean, that was her pose, her choice. Oh, hang on. Huh? Oh, okay. Thank you. um, I left some money in my pockets. Um, huh? No, I can. No, I can put it over here. It'll dry. It'll dry fine. No worries. Say hi to Fadila, everybody. um, she did the laundry. It's like your money going through the washing machine. I tried to empty my pockets, but I missed. No, but this lady in Indonesia, she knew. She knew she was a great photo subject, and she was just getting a kick out of me taking pictures. I didn't take a ton, but I got this one, and it was really awesome. Um, I love her attitude. I love her attitude. Um, so those are my oh gosh, this is weird. I'm back on the restream thing, and they've made me like I take up a huge portion of the screen. If I slide it up, I just get the top of my head. But if I put it this way, it's like my head's huge. But yeah, so I am gonna have a link for Society 6, but as I say, I got to figure out what's going on because the uploading got funky, and it started putting weird limits on me for description length. Bye bye. That it wasn't supposed to, and so yeah, um, I will be putting that up, and yeah, so, you got it. Okay. Um, because yeah, they're going to be really nice prints. I'll admit I'm not doing the paper art prints because I know how those look. They put the white border on them and they look kind of cheesy. They don't do really well. I'm doing them in the really nice quality. If you're going to do it, but I'm also doing it in the ones where you can just receive it and the hanging system's already on it. You just get it and you hang it. You don't have to take it to a framer or anything like that. Um, and for those of you who really know me, you'll know that I worked in a picture frame shop. And oh, I got more people. Do I have? Yeah, I have more people saying hi. Hello, everyone. Um, and, and so I'm a little picky about my picture framing. Oh, hey, Carmen. Hey, Carmen. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. But so yeah, I just really want the prints to look really good. If you're gonna do it right. And so yeah, I'm working really hard on getting those up. But so I've told you about all my projects. I've talked longer than I usually talk, so I apologize. There was a lot to cover, and I wanted to share those pictures with you because I like them, and I think it's a good overview of what I've been doing the last 6 years. And so at this point, I am going to say a simple thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you showing up and coming. And I honestly don't know what week of January I'm going to be heading for a cross. Um, it depends on if I'm, busting butt trying to get to the Nigeria festival or not. It depends on how everything goes over the next few weeks. So somewhere between January 3rd and January 15th, I will be leaving for Accra to kick this whole thing off. So again, thanks for joining me. And barring any power outages or internet outages, I will see you next week. Bye. We're going to go out with the music. Go out with the music. There we go. And you know what? I'm going to put this back up just in case anyone has second thoughts on a little donation. Because I will not turn down any help. But I appreciate you just showing up. No guilt trip here. Okay. Oh, button moved. There it is. Hold on. I got to do this proper. I got to do this proper. Okay.